Hello, everyone. Welcome to the People Strategy Forum. Our guest today believes in something powerful. When leaders align purpose with people, profit follows. Israel Duran is a business strategist, speaker, and a coach who's helped hundreds of entrepreneurs grow their impact without selling out their values. So it's very important they've maintained their integrity and what they truly believe as they're working through life and building their company. So in Israel's company is all about building businesses that serve people and stand for something real. After surviving a near-death experience, Israel chose to make his life about legacy and how he teaches others how to do the same with the same spirit. So today we're going to explore how values-driven leadership isn't just good ethics, it's a smart business strategy. So welcome, Israel.
Thank you so much, Sam, for having me.
Yeah, so Israel, so take us back a bit. I mean, I know that we kind of brought up the accident. Can you tell us what happened that day and how that changed your perspective on life?
October 5th, 2018, a date that I'll never forget. My second daughter, Annabelle, was born 4 days prior, and it was a car accident that came to really shake some things up. At the time, I was living in complacency. I was comfortable. I had working a full-time gig and also had some businesses on the side. Was making good money at the time of what I thought was good money, and I was comfortable, Sam. And this car accident came to my life as a catalyst. It came as a catalyst for change. It came as a catalyst to go all in with what I felt in my heart to do, which was to serve people through the service of speaking and the leadership and the training that we're doing now in our company. And it shifted a lot. It's a very emotional time for me in September. All of my three girls are born in September. I have five children, three girls, two boys. And every time September comes around, man, in October, right into October, it's just like it's just an emotional time for me. And
Yeah.
the car accident again was used for a change in my life for me to make a decision. For me to make a decision if I was going to continue to play small or if I was going to go all in with my values and my vision and use my voice to fill the voids that I saw in the marketplace.
Yeah. And I know that there's many people out there listening in that says, yes, I've gone through a traumatic experience like that. They can relate and so forth. And now, but you've taken action on that setback in your life, that tragic event. And you've even written a book. And so, Kent, how has your experience really aligned to writing that first book?
Well, 100%. I love the question. I mean, within 3 days from that car accident, I launched my third business. And within 3 weeks from that car accident, I launched my first book, the book you're referring to, Money Management Mindset, in two languages within 3 weeks. And
Wow.
this book, by the way, was supposed to be released a year and a half later. There was no AI I was using. The AI wasn't like it is now back then. I used one of our processes that we teach our students, and that's to speak to text. And yeah, but that book has opened doors for me, Sam, that have been incredible relationships with organizations, businesses, individuals, CEOs, leaders, and simply because of a car accident. Figure that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But the big thing is, how did you use that book to really gain that influence to share your message? I mean, was there a particular way that you've leveraged? Were you doing speaking with the book, or how did you spread that out, the message
I
out?
love the question, Sam, because the book, I'm a believer that we all have gifts, and I'm
Hmm.
a believer that a man's gift will make room for him and open doors and bring him before great people. And that's exactly what the book did. It's like the moment the book came out, it was like now it was an asset that could be used to nurture and build relationships. And the book helped me to build influence and to then monetize that influence. I'm a big believer in principles, like teaching like laws, like the law of gravity, the law of momentum, like the law of cause and effect. Like I'm a nerd when it comes to laws.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about laws is that they work for anyone, right? And I have been able to distill laws that are actually that govern, and everybody can know, learn them, and most people use them, that govern success in business. And I love the question because you asked me what I use the book to build my influence, because it pertains to a law that I teach called the law of impact that has a step-by-step process for showing people how to monetize. And it's exactly what was able to do after I launched my book, was able to monetize more, like I said, reach more people, and start making the impact that I knew I was called to make.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to dive into some of those laws and how it aligns with value-driven leadership. And so you just mentioned one, impact, and finding a way to really drive that. Can you
For
elaborate a
sure.
bit?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you ever see and by the way, this law comes from like when you plant seeds, right?
Mm.
So this is called the law of impact. There's four specific steps to make an impact, right? Because people, especially in leadership, we want to be remembered, we want to make an impact, we want to serve others, but sometimes we skip the steps. Not because we want to, it's just because sometimes we don't have the full education on how it's done. And we just got to learn by trial and error. But you don't need to learn by trial and error if you follow these four steps. So step number one when it comes to the law of impact is actually education. And
Mm.
it's not just any type of education, it's specialized education. It's
Okay.
learning from someone that has already done what you want to do, whether that's in the B2B market, B2C, B to government, like business to government or business to consumer. Like learning from someone that has already done what you want to do and then learning from that person. Like
Mm.
and then really like gleaning, I would say gleaning on the laws and the principles and the concepts. Once you have the right education, then we go into what we call systems development. Now,
Okay.
you'll love this because one of the things we also do is help people build what we call inheritance wealth. Like I'm a big believer that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So we have
Mhm.
this thing where we teach the people we work with and companies on how to really build like that inheritance wealth. The way we teach them how to do it is through systems. Like if you want to make an impact, you need systems. So systems development is number two, and not just any type of systems, but systems that produce value in the marketplace that you want to serve,
Right.
right? And then number three, Sam, is influence. That's what you mentioned, right? That's why when you said it, I was like, yeah, let's talk about the law of impact because number three comes easy when we do number two properly. When you have the right systems in place of education to your market, whether again, you're dealing with corporations, individuals, sectors, when you have the right value marketing sales system, like giving training out there, giving value, you'll naturally build the influence. And then that influence, well, before going into number four, influence, there are a couple different elements too with influence that most people get wrong, Sam. And because people think influence is like manipulation,
Yeah.
influence isn't manipulation. Influence is the measurement of leadership. So when we talk about value-driven leadership, I can always tell the level of a leader depending based on their influence. If I see someone that doesn't have influence, I know they're not a leader because influence is that thing that people follow you just because it's not because they have to. It's not because your
Yeah.
title. It's another law. It's like a gravitational pull, right? And there's actually three things that make up influence that actually allows you to build influence. And that's actually called the law of influence, which I could touch on it too, because I geek out about this stuff. And sometimes I connect these laws, right? But what do you think? Do you actually go through it?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's go.
Well, this is funny too because when people think of influence and leadership, they never think of these three. Like sometimes they do, but not necessarily like as a main one. Like the first step of building influence is really showing strength. Now, what do I
Makes
mean by
sense.
strength? Like I remember Alexander the Great, right?
Yeah.
There's this when you listen to his history with his life, his biography, there was a battle where they were losing bad,
Mm.
right? And they're so like the soldiers were kind of returning back. They were running back to the pet, like they were retreating. And it's said in the story that Alexander the Great got on a horse and literally was going full sprint with the horse, full chariot towards the enemy. And as Alexander's men saw that, they said, "We can't go back. We got to
That's
go with
right.
him." And they turned around and they went with him. Why? Because no one will follow a leader that's weak.
Yeah.
So we have to, even in points of weakness, we have to demonstrate that we're strong. And the way we do that is by admitting our weakness, working on, people talk about strengths, like the SWOT analysis. This is like every
Hmm.
time I deal with an organization, like they always bring it up. I'm like, look, the SWOT analysis is great. awesome for an organization. But if we're really going to have a SWOT analysis, we need to analyze the people that are in the organization.
Yeah.
Because the organization may be strong, but there may be some leadership development we need to do to talk about practically how we increase strength that, because sometimes this doesn't come easy for people, right? You're dealing with people.
Yeah.
But that was I learned it from Alexander the Great, and that's number one, strength,
Okay.
right? Number two, Sam, is empathy.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing with empathy, and I'll be interested to see what your thoughts on this are. Empathy, the way I see it and the way I teach it, is emotional intelligence when applicable. Because it's not about being so emotionally intelligent that you're just constantly, everybody's crying around you, you're just so empathetic that you can't get anything. No, it's not that extreme. There is a balance to it, but there's a sensitivity of when to turn it on and when to turn it off. There's a
Yes.
discernment factor, right? That what I've seen with great leaders, they know how to turn it on, they know how to turn it off, they know how much to give. There's something called like constructive empathy, right? Or cognitive empathy when you don't want to go too deep because then you can go all the way down in the emotion, but have a place of like authority, but also care, right? That will grow a company like if you start implementing empathy inside of your leaders, oh my goodness, it will create a connection and value and authority and just a sense of peace and camaraderie, like people coming together around the same goals. It will build something long and last.
Yes. I totally agree with that. I mean, it's important for our leaders to have empathy, but it's also important for us to understand where we need to put the guardrails. Because a lot of leaders, they're not a psychologist, they're not a person that is supposed to be a counselor. But it's important to have a heart, listen, and feel and know what's going on with your people, and then also put that into perspective and in the workplace and how you can others can potentially help pick up slack when somebody's having a bad day or going through a difficult time in their life. It's good to harness the team and bring us all together so that we can help that person get through that hump and then get them the care that they need, and help them get them the help that they need. So I think that's important for leaders to understand.
100%. And when they understand that, number three becomes very easy. So you got strength, empathy, and number three is compassion.
Yes.
See, compassion is that kindness. It's that, I always tell people, compassion is the mountain and the fountain where all miracles flow from.
Love that.
Compassion is the word compassion too. When you study in the Hebrew, in the Hebrew background, the picture that it gives. And when I first learned this, I was like, "This is powerful," and then this explained to me a question that I always asked, like in my mind back. Like I never said it, but it was one of those things that was like deep down in your mind that you never really asked. I'm like, why is it that women get this supernatural strength when it comes to their children? But then when I understood the word compassion, I was like, oh, that makes sense. The word compassion gives the picture of a mother with a baby in her womb, like that love that the mother has. Like, and literally, like you look it up, you'll go ahead and see like mothers moving cars, tons of pounds because their baby is stuck under or something's going on. And they get this supernatural strength. So the beautiful thing about influence is when we work with strength, when we work with empathy, when we work with compassion, all these three become one, and we build that influence measurement in our life. And that's what actually helps us become better leaders, better value-driven leaders. And once we have influence, step number three of the law of impact, then we have what we call monetization.
Oh, great.
And monetization, once you monetize, then you'll be able to make an impact, right? Because people talk about impact all the time, but you can't really make an impact if you don't have revenue, if you don't have the means to do it. If you want to reach tens of thousands of people, if you want to reach hundreds of thousands of people, you're going to need the backing for it. So the law of impact, hopefully it gives some clarity and to some people here and just confirmation as well on how it's done. Whether, by the way, if you're growing your own business or you're a leader in a corporation, because even if you're a leader in a corporation, like once you have that influence, you're able to help your team increase their performance, right? Because now they're showing up for you. It's not just a company, they're showing up for you. There's a relationship there. They want to be held accountable to you. Then you help them increase their productivity, so their daily output. And we all know, Sam, that with AI, That's one of the main things that are being scrutinized right now is productivity, right?
Yes.
AI is going to solve some of it, but leadership will always solve it all. And then number three, help them increase the bottom line profits of the organization. Because if your team's performing higher, if you have more productivity, you're going to have a better output, the law of cause and effect, and your revenue will grow up.
Yes, this is a very important distinction. I think that most people are of mission driven, purpose driven, value driven organizations fail to understand is that profit is not evil. Money is not evil, and it doesn't take away from that purpose driven work, that mission driven work. It's that place that gives us abundance. It gives us we need to be strong as a business to be able to give back or give to others. You need that abundance of strength so that you can give. So I think that's something that leaders miss. Do you see that much in your practice?
I love what you just shared, Sam. And because it's first off, I relate so much to what you're sharing. Growing up, I had that mindset that money was evil, that money wasn't good. That's why I wrote my first book, Money Management Mindset, after my car accident. And that book, by the way, like I said, was supposed to be released a year and a half from that car accident, but it was accelerated 3 weeks. And one of the main points that I like, hopefully do a good job at tying down is that money is not evil. And because I see it a lot too, Sam, to confirm what you're saying in leadership in teams. And the reason why subconsciously we believe that is because we've been programmed to believe that. So like when we look at just society, and I'm a student of history and I geek out with a lot of things. Like people call me a nerd, but it's just because I like to study and read. When you look at the history of like society, like and the differences between certain people that grow up in different areas and the wealthy and the poor, it comes down to programming because none of us believed anything when we came out of the womb. We were all taught to believe what we believe, right? And the reason why people think money is evil is because they've been programmed to believe it. But money is not evil.
Yeah.
And and I'll go here, Sam, because I can. I also consider myself a believer in the Word of God and God and in Christ. And one of the things that a lot of people get wrong, right? They misquote the Bible. They misquote it. And it's so sad because it's not what it says, right? Like people go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. That's where the actual saying is. And they say, you see, money's evil, right? I'm like, did you even read it? Well, yeah, it says money's evil. I'm like, no, it doesn't say that. It actually says, for the love of money is the root to all
Yeah.
evil. So that's a great distinction, Sam, because
It is.
I built my whole life with subconsciously, Sam, thinking that money was evil. So I would mismanage it because I'm a good person, right? So I disassociated myself from money because money's evil. I can't have it. And that's where I lived before my car accident. Like I had that mindset, right?
Yeah.
And through my renewal of mind, I said, wait a second, money is not just even a tool. That's another misconception that a lot of people have. They say, well, money is just a tool. I believe that money is more than a tool. I personally believe, Sam, that money is actually good, right? I'll prove it as well.
So
The same people, Sam, that say, well, that's not what the Bible says. If you believe the Bible, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Well, if you go to Genesis, right? Because God's not going to write something in the front of the book and then write something else in the back of the book to confuse people. God's not the author of confusion. So I tell them, I'm like, go to the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verses 11 through 12. And they're like, well, what's in Genesis chapter 2, verse? I was like, oh, I'll tell you. It says, I'm paraphrasing at verse 12, and it says, and the gold of that land was good. You see, back in 1973, President Nixon, he made a switch. Again, I'm a student of history. He removed what we call the gold standard, which you're aware of,
Yep.
and the silver backing. Before, every US dollar used to be backed by a silver coin or a silver or gold, essentially.
Yep.
And when he took that away, it's like we went away from God's monetary system because God's monetary system is gold and silver. And we went into fiat currency. So now they can just print whatever they want, right? The Federal Reserve, which is another conversation. And that's where inflation gets increased. But the reality is that God said that gold, which is the monetary system biblically that was built for kings and queens, he says it is good, right? So what corrupts the money? It's not the money. It's the heart and the motive behind people and why, like, what are they doing to produce the money? And that's why it says, for the love of money is the root to all evil. saying that men, because of money, will do all manner of evil, but it's not saying that the money is evil. It's saying that the men who have the love of money, they'll go to any means to get it, even if it's hurting somebody else or being somebody that's not good, right?
Right.
So I love talking about this subject because I was stuck with this and I didn't have anybody kind of just tell me the truth. So I had to struggle a lot. So anytime I get an
Mhm.
opportunity to talk about it, I bring it up.
So I think that's a great distinction. I mean, that's why when I was speaking about profit and money, I was thinking about abundance because we can be abundant in many things. We can be abundant in love or food or experience or money is another factor. And then there's a part when our cup fills up and we have enough to where we're secure in ourselves. We've secured the strength of the business. And then at that time, that's when the abundance goes outward and we can create additional value for our people, values for our customers and clients, value for society. So I think it's when we're thinking about strength and profitability and money, we should think about it from the point of getting to that abundance and that security as a business, so that we can be more mission driven, more strategic.
100%. One of the things that I love to teach on is the actual law of abundance.
Mhm.
And when we think about abundance, we can't talk about abundance without talking about what you're talking about, which
Yeah.
is exchange, right? You could always tell the mindset that someone has by the exchange that they give in the marketplace, right? So there's these levels, they're called the four levels of exchange that can really articulate and showcase what we're talking about here now with abundance, because this is probably one of the easiest, most simple and systems that actually work when people learn about the four and they choose the right one to implement into their business and in their leadership, that will take things to a whole nother level. Not just theory based, not just like, oh yeah, this could help you. Like when every time I teach this, people are like, they get aha moment, like, oh wow, yeah, I get it, I got it, and they run with it, right? And then things go up. So I would love to share it if we have time.
Sure, we have about 5 more minutes there, Israel.
You
So
know what?
let's go forward.
The four levels of exchange are very simple. The quick story of a guy. There was two guys. There was this one guy that was at the airport. He was at one of these little, restaurants waiting for his flight, and he was just there hanging out. And then there was a gentleman that walked past him, and he had a nice watch. Now, I typically have a watch on, like all the time, but today, of all days, I don't have it on. But typically, but I'm gonna use. You know what I'm gonna use? Instead of a watch, I'm gonna use glasses. So he had these nice glasses on, right? And he had the glasses on and he was hanging out. And then he tells him, he's like, hey, how much are your glasses? And the guy takes it out. He's like, oh, these glasses, man, these glasses are they're really high up there. They're worth about 25,000. And they're like, wow, man, I really like those glasses. The guy in the restaurant saying, I really like those glasses. And he's like, you know what, dude? I'll sell them to you right now for 10,000. And he's like, oh, the guy in the restaurant's like, really? Yeah, man, I've been looking for these types of glasses for a long while. That's huge. That would be awesome. So they come to an agreement where the guy with the glasses is going to exchange his glasses for $10,000, right? That's the agreement. And they shake on it. Now, here are the four levels of exchange. I'm going to start at the lowest level so people can get an understanding of what not to do. You never want to do this because it's not cool, right? They agree. The gentleman in the restaurant pulls out the 10 grand, he pulls out a check or he pulls out cash, and he pays the gentleman the $10,000. And the gentleman is like, okay, perfect. I'll be right back. I got to go get the case for you. I don't want to give it to you now because if I give it to you now without the case, it's not going to be good. I'll be right back. So the guys in the restaurant's like, yeah, not a problem. He's thinking nothing of it. The guy with the glasses, he leaves and doesn't come back. That's what we call a criminal exchange. It's not cool. You don't do it.
Yeah.
And I know, Sam, you don't do this. I don't do this. But I'm just saying, if there's anybody out there listening, I'm sure nobody does this either. I'm sure you've seen it done. It's not cool. It's called stealing and robbing. Does
Right.
not work out for you. Here's the second level of exchange. They agree to the 10,000, and the guy says, you know what? Here, yeah, thank you for the 10,000. He says, you know what? There's this little piece over here that technically didn't come with the glasses. So I'm gonna take it back because technically it didn't come with the glasses, but you're gonna have the glasses that you paid for. So, he takes out the little thing. He says, here you go. That's what we call a fair exchange. Okay. A
Okay.
fair exchange. Okay. Now we have the third level of exchange. The guy sells him the glasses for 10 grand. He pays him the 10 grand and he says, "Hey, I'm going to give you these glasses, but let me tell you something. There's something here that has there's like a little, thing that did not come with the glasses, but because I'm selling you the glasses and you're looking at it and it's on there, I'm going to go ahead and throw that in at no additional cost and I'll give you that and just call it good." And the guy's like, "No, no, no, you don't have to do that, man. Like no, I just want the glass because you're right. That's what I paid for." He's like, "No, no, no. I want you to have it. It's something that, I want you to, and a matter of fact, this case too, I want you to have it as well. I want you to have this case." And the guy's like, "No, I don't. I just bought the glasses. I don't need that." Say, "No, no, you know what? This case means a lot to me. I've had this case for a long time and it's a sentimental value to me. And I want to make sure you have it." So the guy gives him he's like, "Okay, wow, cool." He gets his glasses, he gets a case, he gets some other things. And that's what we call an equal exchange.
Oh, okay.
Okay. An equal good exchange. Now, if you want to really, like, if people are listening to this, Sam, which they are, and if
Mhm.
you have a business or you're a corporation or organization, and you want to really take things to the next level, this is what you do. And this is, by the way, one of the easiest, most predictable ways of growing your company. Because when you do this consistently, you will have so much referrals you won't know what to do with. Like literally.
Oh,
You agree? They both agree. The guy in the restaurant, 10 grand, he pays him. The guy says, here's the glasses. And by the way, this thing over here that you didn't pay for, here it is as well. And you know what? I'm gonna give you the case. And the guy says this is what he does, Sam. He says, "You know what, man, why do you need the glasses?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, no, I need it because it's going to be for something that I want to do with my family and this." He's like, "Okay, cool." The guy that sold him the glasses is like this. "You know what? I'll be right back. I'll be right. Just stay here. I'll be right back." And the guy's like, "Cool." He has his stuff that he paid for, so the guy's not going to run off with anything. And the guy goes, and the guy takes like 15 minutes. No one knows where this guy goes. But when he comes back, this guy has like a case, right? He has a case. And he comes and then he says this, "You know what? When I was younger, like your age, because the guy's a little bit more elderly, he's like, I remember my grandfather used to tell me stories, and he used to use this briefcase, and he would tell me stories about how he used to go out and use the different types of glasses. And before his passing, he gave me three different glasses along with a watch. They say it's valued at about 200 grand. And a lot of people have tried to buy it from me. But you know what? For some reason, I feel like you deserve to have it. And I know you paid for this. I know you paid for these glasses, and you have them already. But I would love to gift you this briefcase with these three new glasses and this watch." The guy that just bought the glasses is typically going to be like this. "No, no, no, absolutely. No, no, no. This is crazy. Dude, like you don't have to know. I paid you 10 grand. I already got my money's worth. I don't need this. It's okay. It's good. I don't need you to give this to me." And then the older guy is like, "No, no, 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 no. I insist. If you don't receive this, I'm going to take it as an insult and a disrespect. Please, I understand what you're saying, but just please receive this gift because I'm not going to feel good if you don't receive it." And the guy with the glasses is like, he's like, "Okay, I mean, I don't even know what to say. How can I? Oh, no, no, don't worry. You don't owe me anything. That's just a gift. Enjoy the glasses. Enjoy the briefcase with the glasses, the new three pair. Now you got four pairs of glasses and the watch. Now watch this. What do you think, Sam, is going to be happening in that guy's mind that just received all that stuff?"
well, he's feel great. I think he's gonna feel like he received a lot of value. He feels like that he's has a closer relationship with the person that provided that value to them. So I think that's quite important. Quite
That's what we call the abundance exchange.
yes, love
And the
that.
way I operate my business, we're to the point where I get grown men, CEOs, grown women in companies and different organizations, they cry. People that don't cry, they cry because they don't get it. You got to give so much that it doesn't even make sense. People
Yeah.
are trying to figure you out. Why is this guy? What's going on with this guy? Why is he giving some? You got to give. That's the point that I aspire to give to, right? So I love what you said because it aligns to a lot of my values as well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story, Israel. And now that we're at the top of our time here, how can our listeners reach out to learn more about you and your services?
I have this gift we typically give away, but we typically sell it as well. But I would love to gift it to your audience at no cost. All they would have to do is go to my website, israelduran.com. And this gift, by the way, it's called the Online Business Blueprint. There's several other laws and principles that I teach in it that are like game changers for helping corporations and businesses grow online. And all they have to do is find me on Instagram. You can go to my website, israelduran.com, click on my little Instagram tag, and it's going to take you to my profile. And then you direct message me the word blueprint, all one word, and we'll go ahead and send it over. And most of the time, probably about 90% of the time, people have questions. So instead of just DMing me directly, right, I also will open up some slots for my team to speak with you all to see if there's any questions you have. They'll be able to take care of you based on the laws and the frameworks you'll learn in the blueprint. But yeah, that's my gift to you and the abundance exchange.
That's great. A good application of the abundance mindset. So thank you so much for joining us today, Israel. I mean, I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope all you listeners have done that as well. And we'll see you next time on the People Strategy Forum. Take care, everyone.